Hello everybody, and welcome to RPG Horror Stories. Short little bit of announcement first. I'm going to start recording all of these in the end of my stream live on Twitch. So if you want to see things before they get posted on YouTube, feel free to pop in. Twitch.tv/SuyuNatsuni. And hey, like, subscribe, comment on the video if you like it. And if you've done all three, you've got a massive cock. Now let's get on with the story. How concentration lost a player. I'm sorry, if you want to blame anyone, it's alright to blame me. It's not really a horror story, more a painful one. I never intended for them to leave, and I perhaps really should have waved away that warning. Truly, I don't blame you. I blame myself for not making things clear enough. I'm not sure if I'm in the right either. I'm sorry. It wasn't very well planned out, and I wasn't able to improvise fast enough. Rogue, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. They posted a story in RPG Horror Stories earlier, but it was deleted, so I'm not sure what happened. The cast: Rogue, Warlock, who happened to be a paralyzed player, Borav, the evil mermaid who planned to betray the party, Shade, an evil shadow creature with spell casting. There are two DMPCs, one they hired as a healer, and one that was just dragged along. The healer's turns were controlled by player characters in combat, and the other one just isn't relevant. I actually really enjoy that idea. The story. I'll just say what was needed. I don't want this to be long. Earlier on, they met a chaotic evil mermaid. Balwan Sith, reskinned as a mermaid with some vampire added in to be exact. And they ended up making an alliance with her. She would try to mind control the rogue and succeed at doing that. The warlock got suspicious of the fact that the rogue was charmed and tried to break the charm. Lorav, the mermaid, doesn't like that. To be fair, Lorav had no intentions of keeping the alliance in the first place. Her betrayal was scripted from the beginning, and she had been intended as the villain. Yes, not the nicest, but this was a horror game. Later on, they enter combat with shade creatures. There was one very specific shade of note, the spellcaster one, who could cast spells. It had casted a defensive spells of sort and was concentrating on that. Meanwhile, Lorev wants to get rid of the one she couldn't turn into a thrall, the warlock. She subtle casts hold on him, a feat she has used before, and the warlock fails to save. Then she proceeds to leave him to die. The rounds go by, and through sheer unluckiness, they proceed, failing the save, which was a DC of 15. At this point, there's not much I can do except watch an abject horror as the warlock proceeds to roll nothing above a 10. Nothing at all. I okayed Rogue a free action in an attempt to help Warlock, and they proceeded to still fail the save. Warlock rolls perception with his familiar, and crits with a 20! I tell them that they notice two creatures concentrating Lorev in the shade. They attack the shade. My fault, I didn't make it clear enough that it was concentrating on a defensive spell, and they crit. The creature fails to save and drops the defensive spell. However, it wasn't the spell they were trying to break, and Warlock was still paralyzed. They leave after I tell them the creature that was concentrating may not have been concentrating on the specific spell you were looking to break. And that was it. I'm blocked on Discord. I'm sorry you had to leave. I wish you all the best. Julon didn't read. Player tries to break paralyzation spell, attacks the wrong creature, and leaves. And also, should I have changed the hold person from Lorev to the shade creature and just let them break the concentration? So I would say that in this situation, there's really only two things you could have done. One would be to just lie about the DC, just don't tell them the DC and let them break it. Or, you know, you could also just do exactly what you just suggested for yourself, and you know, let them break the hold person that Lorev was supposed to have casted. Because I mean, it is a shade. What's the chance of noticing a shade casting hold person? I mean, let's be honest. And what are the chances of a shade having subtle cast? I mean, like, I would expect it to be somewhat high. So there's a lot of freedom here. Honestly, I don't understand why they blocked you on Discord all of a sudden. There might have been a better way to word this, as such as specifically telling them that you have broken a defensive spell concentration, and now Lorev was extremely vulnerable to attacks, meaning that they could just like that, and then Lorev's concentration on hold person is just gone. Honestly, just a little bit of clarity could have saved you here. I'm not going to really fault you. It's not much of a horror story, but I will say there is stuff that can be improved on here. You guys did it all right. I hope that this does reach you. I hope that you are doing better. Now, let's get on to the next tale. Wookie tries to flirt through Dungeons and Dragons, and it goes about as well as you might expect. I'm going to wrap up 2 posts into one for this story. Wookie's opinions on alignment and the story about his attempt to woo the only woman at the table. To set this story up, Wookie had some very firm feelings on alignment, taking their definitions to the most extreme, particularly true neutral and the evil axes of alignment. To him, true neutral meant that you were only loyal to yourself. If your 5 parties members fought 20 skeletons, you would need to turn on your party and join the skeletons so they would show you mercy, as if the skeletons would care at all. That doesn't track for me, but whatever. After that, we have the evil axes. Doesn't matter what you will kill your party over as something as small as a copper piece. You're lawful, you assassinate them in their sleep, chaotic, and you just cut them down then and there. Blah, blah, blah. Evil means you kill your party. I know evil PCs are a touchy subject, but I'm going somewhere with this. Eventually, I discovered necromancy in D&D, and excitedly asked Wookie if I could play one. He proceeded to tell me that all necromancers are evil, and that all wizards would kill me if I was a necro, and anyone good aligned would do the same. Then, a woman joins the game. She's the quiet, nerdy type, super into Naruto. It just so happened that Wookie was as well. And so, he tries to flirt with her by bending over backwards. The next session, she rolls up with a lawful, evil, dread necromancer. I hold nothing against the necromancer. She was a great player and person, but the favoritism? Oh boy, that was full on display. Everyone could easily see what Wookie was doing, and she did not return the feelings. Everything that was hard fought with the rest of the group was freely given to her. NPCs would treat her much better. Her magic items were significantly more powerful than our very own. She got a magical sword that did any elemental damage she wants. That was a +2 short sword that dealt 2d6 damage. I got an amulet that can only cast major image once per day, and he ruled that enemies could always see through illusions. Another player got an amulet that just gave +5 movement speed. However, necromancers soon had enough. I wasn't there when she dropped. I missed the message for a game night due to my phone not updating. Wookie recounted the events to me. In his words, she said, "I'm a shitty DM and a shitty person, and she never wants to talk to me again." But I can't confirm any of that. After she dropped him like a sack of potatoes, he sulked in his own self-loathing for a while before grumbling about how she should return the gifts he had given her. After all, they were technically his property. He implied that she was technically stealing from him. This is where I pretty much dropped him. I honestly put up with him for way longer than I should have. We still associated when we needed to, but I didn't make an effort to try and be involved with this dude anymore. Okay, so listen guys, What the fuck is this DM's take on fucking neutrality and fucking evil and shit? What in the world? I don't understand it. You can be evil while being neutral and not have to like side with skeletons and bullshit. And you can be evil and not be murdered on sight by anything good aligned. It's not like everyone has detect evil or protection from evil and good inside their fucking spell slot. It's not like everyone just knows you're evil. It's very easy to play a outwardly evil character in Dungeons and Dragons that is not a bad person, you know? And I fully agree with what this chick probably said. I'm a shitty DM and a shitty person. She never wants to talk to me again. Probably because you were coming on to her at the same time as completely bending your own rules. Gay streamer detected. Hog. But yeah, just like, why would you do this? Like, you fucking around, you found out. Oh god, I will never understand this Dungeon Master's take. Next story. Defeatist Paladin gives up because he isn't fighting a demon. Another story for you all. This one comes from my first ever major campaign. Our problem player, a paladin, he used some variant that had like a self-centered anti-magic field or something. Before I really get into it, I want to admit that I also made some mistakes here. I didn't double check abilities, and definitely I made some incorrect rulings. Good on you, recognizing your own mistakes. That's how you work towards bettering yourself. Admitting you made a mistake, knowing what mistake you made, and moving forward with that. To cut unnecessarily details, the party found a town that had an imprisoned ogre mage on the outskirts of town. It was magically sealed in this enormous stone with an iron door on the front. The party decides to investigate as they don't know what was held inside. They open it up and describe the creature emerging from its prison, and described it as tall, nearly 10 feet high, light blue skin eyes that look like black pearls, and white horns protruding from its head. Combat starts. The Ogre Mage wins initiative, and uses its fly speed to get above the party while using its bow. Here is where I made my mistake. The Paladin uses his anti-magic field. I was under the impression that spell-like abilities were not subject to anti-magic fields. That was how Paladin ran it in his games, and I had never played with anyone else before. But I have the Ogre Mage continue using its magical abilities. Seeing this, the Paladin just throws up his hands and declares this combat impossible. It's a demon, so it's immune to magical weapons, and my anti-magic field cancels all of our magic weapons. We lose! I tell him that maybe he's missed something, or made an incorrect assumption. He declines the idea. Oh shit, I reread that wrong. Okay, reshoot that. It's a demon, so it's immune to normal weapons, and my anti-magic field cancels all of our magic weapons. We lose! I tell him that maybe he's missed something, or made an incorrect assumption. He declines the idea and continues to sulk about an unbeatable encounter. He only decided to participate after another character wounds the Ogre Mage with a mundane weapon. He still insists that it has to have been a demon until after the session when I told him it was an Ogre Mage. He claims I didn't provide enough context for that to be true. This was a short one I wanted to hammer out. Not horrible, but it always sticks out to me as a funny example of his playstyle. Whoa, the Ogre Mage is flying through the air! Oh my god, imagine if you literally just described Shrek with wings, with magical flight, just like flying through the air, through his anti-magic field. This dude would fucking lose his shit and say, "It's a demon, we can't kill it!" This guy's fucking stupid. I don't know how this guy ever DM'd, but whatever. That's fucking hilarious. Let's just be honest. That is a hilarious failure on the player's part. That's amazing. Just because you accidentally misruled something. And I was... He's like, it's a demon! I don't think I've heard of a... Paladin just saying, it's a demon, we can't kill it! Usually they just fucking smite it. Just what the frig is going on here? Alright, listen, whatever. That's all we have for today. Much love, stay sexy. I'm gonna be playing some last step before we read our RPG horror stories tomorrow. And I'll see you guys later.